onto our drop-downs. Now, this section can get a little lengthy, so I am going to kind of jump through it here, but this is the basis to the system. This is all the different statuses that you're going to see on the objects that we have, such as your calls, your jobs, your orders, and details about the addresses, the units at those addresses, and even a little bit of your employees here. So let's get right into it. Call status. When you talk to a client, you might run into a call status, and you're going to see something like this, active or open. With that, we can make adjustments to it. Let's say you would rather have it say open or perhaps in progress. There we go. In progress. There we are. And we can go ahead and save that. Now that's going to be your default option because that's the first one. And the same thing goes for pretty much all of these here. If I click and drag and I send these around, now every time I create a call, we're going to see this holding for parts as the default option. But we're going to change that back to in progress. All right, so now we have our call resolution. Now this gets a little more detailed. Most companies are just going to assume that when a call comes in, they are going to book that call. Now that's not always the case if we're making outbound sales calls or even inbound sales calls and someone doesn't like your pricing. Who knows, maybe it is going to be a no book or one of these other options on here. You can add those if you want to track it. If not, no problem, we can move on. Job type here. So job type is going to have a lot of option for us. One of the big things here is just the name of the job that you're going to be selecting. So is it a sales? Is it service? Is it install? This is kind of a basic overview. The reason code gets a little bit more detailed. These are going to be very general, so you can see that you have a sales job on the calendar. Maybe instead of purple, we want to go ahead and make that a nice green color here for money. And then from there, we don't want service calls, we actually want do sales calls. Fantastic. Now that's going to align with any of our users that can do a sales call. And we're going to be out there actually for 90 minutes or maybe even 120. And that will default that onto the calendar. Now we can select specific email and text templates going out to the client where you can really cater those dependent on what you're going out for. If it's sales or install, you can ask certain questions, or you can just tell them certain expectations that you'll have with that are custom compared to just something basic like service. When you're done editing this, we'll go ahead and save it. The job status. I like to keep this kind of simple here because we already have a call status, but if you want to get more detailed, you can. Maybe you want your holding for parts in this section. We can go ahead and add, and we'll do holding for parts, and I can go ahead and save that. Now, just as with the last one, your first one's going to be defaulted on here, so if I wanted to edit these around, I can just click and drag, and now I have that option. Job reason. This is going to be what your technicians see on the calendar. If you send them a job, they are going to see this reason code, and they're going to see the color of the job type. So in this instance, I have no power. Perhaps the job type would be service, so they're going to see blue, and the reason is no power. Now you'll see with mine it says member on here. That's something a little extra that we can do where we're tracking specific KPIs based on this job reason, and it will actually pre-fill the fact that it's service. The job priority on here is going to be a standard, and then the technician skills necessary are to be able to repair this panel and repair wiring. Now, if you don't have technician skills set up yet, you can always jump to that here and come back. If you need to flip-flop around, that's okay. We can always set these up. And then your DMR opportunities are your daily management report. These are going to be preset for you when you set up your account, but if you want to get detailed with this and let's say put your revenue to a specific place based on the job reason, we can do that here. Or you don't have to track it and you can always just run reports on total revenue. That's completely fine. Editing this though is as simple as the others, and we can select each option on here. Priority levels can also be set. You would see that on the job reason that was a standard no power. If you want emergency, normal, standard, anything like that, we can input those in here. Lead sources are for marketing purposes. So if you want to go ahead and select the lead source when a call comes in, we can do that. Tech status is going to be what the technician sees on the calendar as well as your dispatcher. So this could be a way for you to easily see where technicians are at without having to actually read what the status is based on the color. We can also enable the next job. So if you don't want your techs to see that they have a sales job or a service job or anything specific coming up, we can go ahead and do that here. And we can even lock that status so they can't make adjustments or changes to it. Now there's also options for auto actions. Those auto actions can be clocking into the job, clocking out of the job, or if you'd like to use one of our extra services, we do have a request review option that is set up right here under customer reviews. Now, once we have these set, let's say we won't use waiting for dispatch, let's use en route to clock in. That's perfect. And then perhaps I want complete to both clock me out and request a review. I'm even going to have this lock and enable the next job. Perfect. Now, the skills we talked a little bit about before underneath the job type, this will allow us to actually go through and say, I would like my technician to be able to perform this specific skill to be able to be scheduled out to this job. So if we go back here and we look at the reason code here, we can see skill, repair panel, repair wiring. To be able to do this, no power, they need these skills. So if you don't see the skills here, go ahead and add them under your tech skills. Each company type will have these preloaded and you can always edit or make adjustments to them. The presentation labels that we have for the order can be adjusted for both the invoice as well as the estimate. You can either have these work in tandem where they're both the same, you can have them edited where you can use one or the other. Right now, when I access my estimate page, it just says order estimate, and when I access my invoice, it says client agreement. Now, if I want that to say invoice, I can make that adjustment here. If we want to have multiple options, as you see, we have options for both. And these will be able to be added to any of those. Different property types that we work at. If you want to track the property location that you're working, is this a commercial address? Is this a townhouse? Is this a two-story? Is there something that I should expect because of this? I can go ahead and add those here. And again, we can reorder these two. The unit or equipment information is also located here. So dependent on what type of your company you have, you're going to have different units that you manage. With this one here, we see medical table, sterilizer, panel, breaker, nonsense. So we can go ahead and add more to this. I could say furnace. Or perhaps I want 20 by 30 pool. Again, all dependent on your industry. We're going to be able to add these directly to the locations that you go out and work on. That way when you go back there, you know exactly what you're going to be working on. And we can even add specific warranty types for that. And then the extras could be what you need when you go out to repair those. So for furnaces, I might need a 20 by 20 filter. And I might need a 20 by 25 or something of that nature as well. I can input all of those in there and I can actually attach those directly to the units. So when I run reports on the memberships or the customers I need to go see, I know what I need to bring with me. This could be filters, fan motors, this could be a capacitor, this could be the Freon that you're going to use. It does not make a difference. Anything that's replaceable can be input in. And last but not least, we have your employee and the different types of compensation that we're going to have for them. So this could be sticker on a unit. They added a sticker to the unit. Maybe they get $10 for doing that. We can go ahead and save that. Or perhaps they had to put in gas. We always put in $20 in gas at least. They're going to be compensated on their next at $20. There we go.